I want to talk a little bit about honesty. Sometimes I think we have more trouble being honest with ourselves than we do being honest with other people. And what I find in my work with my clients is that only at the point that you're willing to be honest with yourself and really take a look at your life and why you're making the choices that you're making and what you might be able to put down in terms of a burden from your past and the things that maybe you're taking responsibility for that don't belong to you that could free up space inside, energy inside, and allow you to do more and allow you to enjoy your life more because you're not carrying that burden anymore, or you're not taking responsibility for something that isn't yours. So, I want to talk a little bit about how to do that since it's important if you're going to set down a burden or if you're going to stop taking responsibility for something that doesn't belong to you, that you know how to do that. So one of the things in the exercises that I do with my clients, we kind of, delve deeply into what those situations are. How does a person feel about it? And get to a place where they feel like they can set that down or stop taking that responsibility. But I think the very first key element is the awareness. You have to be aware that you are carrying a burden, and you have to be aware that you're taking responsibility for something that doesn't belong to you. In order to try to create that awareness, I think you have to look at your triggers, look at the things that are upsetting you, and then try to recognize whether or not they could be coming from a previous experience that now you're being triggered in the present moment. And although there is something happening in the present moment, it's really about another time or multiple other times. That's a way to create awareness. Another thing that I think that people do is they take responsibility for things that don't belong to them. For example, the behavior of other people. I think that when we are in close relationship to others, we feel that who they are, how they act is a reflection upon us, whether that's a spouse, whether that's a child, whether that's a close friend. We tend to feel that their behavior reflects poorly on us. And the truth is that everybody is their own person and has their own path. Sometimes I think that we can recognize taking responsibility for someone else's behavior in the emotion of embarrassment. So if you have done something and you feel embarrassed, that embarrassment belongs to you. But if you are embarrassed and the behavior is someone else's, your spouse, your child, your friend, and yet you feel embarrassed, it's likely that you're taking responsibility for their behavior when it doesn't belong with you. And although we encourage other people, we encourage particularly our children to learn certain, boundaries that exist in society. Everybody has their own path and everybody has their own lessons. And we are not responsible for the choices of our spouse or our partner. We are not responsible for the choices of our children. And so if we feel embarrassed by their behavior, we are taking on emotional, energetic responsibility for them in a way that we shouldn't be, in a way that doesn't belong to us. And that if we stopped that, if we stop taking that in energetic and emotional responsibility, we could have that energy back. We could have that emotional space back for the things that do belong to us. It's just something to think about and notice in your own life when maybe you're taking on some emotional and energetic responsibility for the behavior of someone else.